don't know if I ever told you this, but one of the abortionists I debated, I have this practice of asking my opponents if they'll do coffee before the debate. And I say my one rule is that we don't discuss abortion because that's what the debate is for. So coffee is just to get to know each other as people. And what I'm really trying to do is build a spirit of civility, but also evangelize just by being someone who can sit in their presence and be interested in who they are outside of the abortion issue and yet hate what they do and be on stage, as you say, and tear apart their arguments. But they remember, oh, she was really pleasant to have coffee with. And so in the context of these coffees, I once asked one of the abortionists I debated, I'm curious what made you want to become a physician? Because typically these doctors didn't go in to become abortionists. They went in to become just general practitioners or obstetrician gynecologists, and abortion became part of the many other things that they did. And this one abortionist got glassy eyed and he looked at me and he said, I saw a birth and it was so beautiful. And I knew I wanted to help that.
And I bet you attempted to be like, do you see the problem?
I know, right? And it's like, I told him we're not discussing abortion, so I'm just going to absorb that answer. But it goes to show that even in the heart of a man who had spent decades using his hands to dismember the bodies of babies who could not defend themselves, there was something good, true, and beautiful within him, that he knew birth was beautiful, even though he participated in its opposite with abortion. And he saw the beauty in that. On another occasion, a different abortionist I debated, we were having coffee. We've had several. And he brought this up. We often would talk about our families. And he said at one point, I have a story you're going to like.
Okay.
Like he was like, I'm excited to tell you this. I'm like, okay, what is it? And he said, I think it was his oldest son, but he said, my oldest son, when he went off to college, he and his girlfriend got pregnant. It was crisis pregnancy. It wasn't wanted. They didn't want to be pregnant. I said, well, what happened? And he said, well, my wife and I welcomed them to our home, and that's my oldest grandchild now. And I did say, well, aren't you glad they didn't have an abortion? I mean, that was the only kind of abortion reference in the coffee. But again, it showed not only was he grateful for his grandchild, but he wanted to share that gratitude. And he wanted to be affirmed for the goodness of that story.
Yes.
I have a story you're going to like,
Yes,
So
yes.
I think even the person who makes their livelihood in defending and doing abortion, who is so much immersed and surrounded by ugliness, they still know in their heart what is good, what is true, and what is beautiful. And for them, I think it's very much that when sin overtakes us in such a habitual way, it is very hard to get out of that cycle because of what getting out means in terms of admitting the gravity of what we've done, which can be so overwhelming that it seems easier and safer to just keep doing what you're doing to validate it, as opposed to break free.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.